Yeah, that's what you need right there. I'll try to get a nice close-up of that if we can. That, folks, is a carbide burr drill bit, and it is nothing special. It is just a regular old 1/4-inch shank drill bit. And what you're going to do is you're going to use that in your trusty cordless drill to take that bump right there, take that out of your exhaust manifold. Take those out, each of those in the corner, right there and right there. Take those out so it looks something more like that. Okay, when I show you that profile here, you're going to see that the exhaust flow doesn't see that bump now nearly as much as it does on those. You notice that is at least a 10% occlusion of that port. Now the other thing I did is I hit that with a sanding block. And you will see the casting imperfection right in through here. We would never know about that casting imperfection unless I actually sanded it down. And you don't have to get anything fancy. This is just 60 grit paper. 60 grit works wonders on dirty old cast iron. And you're probably wondering, well, what is that bump there for? Why did they cast it in? That bump is for the AIR, or air injection reactor smog pump, is what they're usually called. And so this is the smog pump boss. And what GM did is they just used the same casting for the smog pump and for the non-smog pump on your Chevy 350. So if you look at the profile, you can see how that nice big boss doesn't even need to be there, except for that if you need to have your smog pump connected, that would be drilled with a hole, and that gave them enough meat right through there to do the drilling process, to come in, drill that, and then thread it. They'd be tapping it, and then it gets a NPT fitting. I believe it's a 1/4-inch NPT fitting. So this is an old GM truck casting that's going on the 73 Chevy. And I am not putting a smog pump back on it. It originally came with one, but the components were so corroded that it wasn't working, and I wasn't going to be able to get it working, and the housing on the pump actually broke off. I had to buy this because the cheap Chinese exhaust manifold died a quick, early, and painful death, and maybe I will cut that up and do a measurement test on it. But yeah, so this is at the minimum what you need to do before you install your next exhaust manifold. Always do this. Get rid of the corrosion. Don't just slap it on with this, because you're not getting rid of any corrosion here, and that corrosion will continue. Now, when you put a gasket on here, I also recommend, well, let's see. Ultra copper, maximum temperature gasket maker. Do a very, very thin bead of gasket maker on that, very, very thin. You're not actually trying to make the gasket, you're just trying to stop any corrosion. And this is like a glue. It will stop corrosion, it'll keep the moisture from accumulating there, and keep this from corroding. Now, it did take 40 years for this corrosion to occur. You can leave it just like this, it'll be fine. But if you want that just a little bit extra, go with this and use your gasket.